Hey YouTube, this is Wrestling Amusement Park Fan 62. It is Monday, February the 6th. Um, Now we are roughly about 2 months out from a lot of the Six Flags parks opening for the 2023 season. Um, which means a lot of these parks are now getting ready. So, it was announced at IAPA recently that uh, Fiesta, Texas, and Over Georgia are getting a Skyline Attractions dueling kids coaster, basically, and it's going to have a lighting package where it will say, like, for example, like brought to you by Coca-Cola. Now, is that going to be the sort of stuff that's going to boost attendance? Possibly, but here is the thing about it. I think they want to see how those do at those parks first before they start buying more. Now, here's the main thing about it. A lot of the parks that they have, Six Flags mostly, um, so you have parks like Magic Mountain, Fiesta Texas, Great Adventure, um, Great America, and then you start getting into the lesser parks like Over Texas, New England, and stuff like that, where their attendance starts not exactly dropping, but they don't get as much. Now, how does this affect the Skyline attractions? Um, I think what they want to do first is see how it does at Over Georgia and uh, Fiesta, Texas. Now there is a rumor that another one is going to St. Louis. I don't know if that is true or not, but supposedly at CoasterCon recently they said something about it. I don't know the full details. So, what does this mean as far as the Six Flags parks as a whole going down the road with attractions? I don't see Six Flags, especially with Salim Basul at the helm of it, spending all kinds of money on these attractions. Now, this new regime of it is totally different than the old. Because with the old regime, they basically wanted something at each park every season. So it doesn't matter if it's something like the 40 free spin coaster or the Zamperla Endeavor or um, something like that, or something like the Harley Quinn slash Joker um, pendulum ride, stuff like that. Now, going forward, I do see Six Flags as still putting in attractions because unfortunately, I'll get to this in a second. It backfired from Salim Basul, what he was just saying months ago. Um, Basically, going into the 2023 announcement season, Salim Basul basically said, for 3 years, we are not going to add any sort of attractions at our parks. And I think to a point, it it backfired on him because of the fact that attendance at the parks were down. Um, Everything in the park went up while still staying the same quality as it was before. So that means, like, so basically it's like a Six Flags thing. This jacking the prices up to be around the Cedar Fair level. So that was not causing a lot of stuff as well. And then, especially like one of the parks where it was really hurting, from what I understand too, was um, Magic Mountain. Um, Now, from what I understand, stuff like Fright Fest did well for him, but the thing is this: you cannot revolve around your business for those 4 to 6 weeks of the year. So here's what I can see in the long run for a lot of these parks. First, um, I can honestly start seeing a lot more family style attractions going in. So stuff like the Skyline attractions, uh, spaghetti, I think that's what they call it, coaster. So stuff like that. So younger kids can ride these, because a lot of these parks, from what I understand, they don't really have attractions for the really younger crowd, because they got stuff for like, once you start basically can riding stuff on, but they don't really have stuff for the really younger crowd. So stuff like the Skyline will work because, if you're younger, you can ride it, and then if you want to have like your older sibling with you, they can ride it as well. Plus, it's thrilling enough for them, and then it's thrilling enough for the younger. Now, and then also on the water park side of things too, I can honestly see um, them starting to add a lot more kid-friendly style water attractions. So Fiesta Texas for this year is adding, I think it's like 5 new family style attractions in their water park. Depending on that does this year, I can honestly start seeing a lot more of those get put in. Now, are we still going to see big coasters come to these parks? I say absolutely at this point, but it's not going to be, what you think. I still think we could probably see something like Dr. Diabolical's Dive Coaster still come to certain parks, especially like the ones that bring in a lot more people. So stuff like Great America, Magic Mountain, um, Great Adventure, stuff like that. But the thing that a lot of these parks need to start doing um, is start focusing on the parks that don't get a lot of love. Now, am I saying to invest millions and millions and millions of dollars into these parks? No, but I am saying at least get them, start building them up to be better parks than they are now. For example, um, Six Flags St. Louis is about 4 hours from me. The issue they are facing is this. Um, if you go west of Six Flags St. Louis, you run into not Wild Adventures, I'm sorry, uh, Silver Dollar City and Worlds of Fun. Over the last several years, Silver Dollar City's added a lot of these good attractions like Time Traveler and all that. Worlds of Fun is adding Sim Biggie Zinger for this year. So that's going to take a lot of the crowds that would go to Six Flags St. Louis to Worlds of Fun. That is the sort of thing that Six Flags needs to work on and start building that park up. Now, am I saying to start building like, Dr. Dalabical Cliffhanger? No. But I am saying start building parks like that up because unfortunately Cedar Fair is bad with this, but they are starting to get better at it when it comes to really starting to invest in those parks. Um, because parks like Kings Island, Cedar Point, Knott's, stuff like that really brings in the money for Cedar Fair. But the problem is parks like Valley Fair, Michigan's Adventure, uh, all and parks like that don't really get hardly anything. And some of those parks have like almost a decade's worth of a drought when it comes to not inviting or investing in these parks. Now, while they may do a lot of like structure type stuff, so replace wood, replace roofs, update plumbing, stuff like that, you're not investing as far as bringing in potential clients. Because unfortunately, with a lot of these parks, unless you're in the area and you feel like going, no one's going to travel several hours out of their way to go to Valley Fair. Because they haven't added anything for such a long period of time. And a lot of the stuff they have had is either old or came from another park. So now with Six Flags, the thing with them is parks like Six Flags St. Louis, Darien Lake, The Great Escape, um, the one in Oklahoma, parks like that really don't get much investment to it. Now, I'm not sure with parks like the one in Oklahoma and Darien Lake how that is worded as far as them bringing in new attractions. Because I know Six Flags basically runs the day-to-day operations of the park, but they don't own the land like they do with St. Louis, for example. So the thing is, they need to figure out what they're going to do. Now, um, this is where Six Flags will unfortunately have to maybe start doing cost cutting measures because unfortunately I have heard at some of their parks they have started where it's like certain sections are closed and stuff like that. But I do see Six Flags starting to build back their reputation, partly because too of the debt that they're in. Start trying to build this back with the clientele that they had, because one of the things that they're trying to do as well is not have the rough crowds that a lot of their parks are known for. So I'm talking about parks like Over Georgia and some others because a lot of these parks had rough crowds, so therefore it was making people not go. So that is the thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to get the crowds to come back and have the rough crowd go somewhere else. So I want to hear from you on this. Do you agree with what I say? Do you disagree with what I say? I am going to do a separate video too about if Six Flags will um, if Six Flags would sell parks, what parks could